Alright, let's talk about a furry meme that happened at MFF this year that in my opinion is rather tasteless, and the end result gave me a little bit of an ick. Yeah, not great feelings. Midwest Fur Fest 2024, I'll say it, one of the better cons that I've been to this year, surprisingly. And I know MFF is one of those cons that some people just kind of write off for being either too big, too inconvenient, and just don't really like it. Personally, I had an amazing time, and it was great as well because every single time I checked Twitter, I had some new video topic to discuss on this channel, so let me tell you, I am thriving right now. Literally from like the first day alone, I had 3 video topics, and I hadn't even gotten to the con yet. I literally checked Twitter, and people were arguing about alcohol, drugs, fursuits, furry being pay to win. I was so fucking ready, and you know what? I'm ready right now. Now as for the tweet that ended up making its rounds and was memed into oblivion this past weekend, it reads as such. One of the things I don't like about bigger conventions like MFF with a nice fursuit made by a big maker. Lots of people say they love your suit, take pictures, etc. You don't get party invites, asked if you're doing okay, how you're changing the world, etc. A bit superficial. So right off the bat, I can see that it reads very strangely. Like, I'll be honest too, I, in my 26 years of life, going on to 27 very soon, have never been asked how I'm changing the world. I know that's such a weird thing to ask someone, and truthfully, I kind of want to, maybe throw some sort of MFF party next year where we ask each other how we're changing the world. I feel like that would be, in good spirit of what they mean here. I know it's more of a joke, but you know what I mean. So the post itself reads a little weird, especially the part about it being superficial. So despite this post being what it was left open to interpretation. Everyone took away something different from it. I saw a lot of people saying that the fursuiter was feeling entitled because, oh, I have a fursuit, so I should be welcome into any sort of thing. I should be invited more into social gatherings. I should make more friends because I have a cute fursuit. When that wasn't necessarily stated in the original tweet, like at all. This, in my opinion, is an example of how Twitter is the epitome of vagueness. When you have a limited amount of characters, you can only explain yourself so much, and you can only hope that your emotion, what you are feeling yourself with what you're saying, is interpreted or felt the same way by whoever's reading it. However, that isn't always or really ever the case with the internet or social media in general. Not specifically Twitter or Twitter or furries in general, it's just a social media internet thing. I can see why people had the opinions they did about this. What I don't really understand, however, is why it went so far that the fursuiter needed to be harassed in their tweet and on their Twitter profile for making the post that they did. I'm telling you right now, they did not deserve the flack that they got. This is the first time I'm taking like a straightforward stance in it. The meme was in poor taste. I get the whole thing was supposed to be for fun, for shits and giggles. I did the meme post myself, and I even said like, how are we changing the world today, furry fandom? Which I understand why some people were clowning on this and making the post that they did about it. I also understand why it was memed, why there was a line going out the door to get that exact picture on the balcony at MFF. I understand why people were doing it. It was all in good fun because a meme was a meme, and you see more people posting about it, doing their own take on it, and then it loses its actual meaning, and people are just looking to do a meme pose based on something they saw on Twitter. I get a lot of that, and that's why I think a lot of people doing the meme pose or fursuit photo wasn't intended to be mean towards the guy. Though at the end of the day, the flack that this fursuiter got was, in my opinion, just entirely unjustified. I feel like if anything, this post is an example of how you have such a limited amount of characters prove some point or make some argument on social media. And so that's why the lesson I always go for with cases like this is, if you're trying to make a take about furry, don't do it on Twitter. You have limited characters, you have limited time to be able to argue your point. If you need to argue it, you usually need like a 32 tweet reply thread to make sure that no one misunderstands what you're talking about. And 4, people will just interpret it in any which way they want. You know the whole thing of like pancakes versus waffles? Like someone will tweet they like pancakes and they're like, so you don't like waffles? It's like, no! That's an entirely different post. What the fuck are you talking about? But from what I saw this weekend, from both attendees and non-attendees at MFF, I was very concerned. It's funny because before I left for MFF, I made a video, and one of the bolder statements that I made is that furry is a very welcome and opening community. Yeah, there are some arguments as to why that might not be. I'll just put it that way. There might be some reasonings as to why that might not be, specifically based on the replies and responds that some people had to the original Fursuiter's post. Also, you can tell it's going to be one of these, I guess, charged beta gets angry videos because I'm wearing a black shirt. I'm kind of doing the Charlie or Moist Critical thing where, you know how he's usually wearing like a white shirt or something in his videos, and when he wears a black shirt or anything else, usually you mean it's one of those videos? I feel like I'm going to be adopting that into this case. It's going to be one of those videos. Now, the context of the fursuit photo, if you're wondering where it was taken, it was outside the fishbowl, second floor on the balcony. So you know that little like smoker's porch deck area that people would just like hang out outside, that was right above like the outside where the food trucks are? That's where the fursuit photo was taken, and the fursuiter, who I would like to remain anonymous because I don't know how the reception of this video will go, and I don't know how they'll end up receiving a lot of, you know, hate or harassment for this, because I don't want them to. I'm going to be anonymizing the fursuiter in this video, so if you know who they are, say nice things to them, please. If you don't know who they are, keep it that way. And also just don't harass this person. You know, I know it goes without saying, and I feel like that's kind of just how my community here is, but just don't harass the person, okay? Please. Least problematic post I've seen so far about this specific subject. The subject being, you know, the superficiality of furry. When you own a fursuit, you might not have the interactions that you're looking for of people wanting to make friends with you. You might just get the face value interactions of people enjoy your fursuit, they want to get a pic with you, they want to say you have a nice fursuit, they want to give you a hug, they want a hug from you, whatever it might be. You know, it's very much just that, which by nature is just kind of what furry is when you look at fursuits. And truthfully, you know, if you want people that want to be friends with you because of a fursuit you have, like, yeah, no, you usually want to just steer clear of that, at least in my personal experience. And realistically, when I first saw this post, I kind of felt bad for the guy, because when I thought of this, it came back to the discussion about furry being pay to win, which is something that has come up time and time again, and actually came up again literally right after that post was made, which I know it might be an argument about furry being pay to win, or it isn't, it leads you to better situations, a better experience within furry. I get the whole argument behind it. I did a video talking about if furry was pay to win or not, and I leaned more towards the idea that furry wasn't pay to win, because even though you might want a fursuit, and a fursuit might be a ticket to enjoying like fursuit parades, interacting with other fursuiters, expressing yourself more easily, less social anxiety, because that can happen when you're wearing a fursuit, it's not an end-all be-all. You can't just make friends because you have a cute fursuit, and usually if you are, then it is going to be very face value. It's going to seem very shallow. And that was the argument that I made. I want to rephrase that argument now about furry being pay to win. If you think furry is pay to win, it's pay to win. If you don't think it's pay to win, it's not pay to win. Because furry is your own experience at the end of the day. It is whatever you make of it. If you think it is a popularity contest based on how cute or hot of a fursuit you have, be my guest, sure, have that experience. I don't care. Do what you want at the end of the day. My impression of this first post that I saw, I don't know the fursuiter at all. I don't know anything about them. I only just recently reached out to ask them what they meant with the original post. I interpreted it this way. And here's the issue with posts like this, and it's kind of the dangerous nature of Twitter, of putting your opinions and feelings out there on the internet. Anything that you post has the potential to go viral and has the potential to be memed or dunked on in whichever different way. It has the potential to leave its target audience. I don't know if there necessarily was a target audience for this, besides expressing gripes about being a fursuiter within a big convention space experience. But no matter how you read this, it can always be interpreted in different ways. I saw plenty of people dunking on the individual, interpreting it as them being entitled to wanting social circle invites, wanting to make friends, being invited to parties, and getting all these things for just having a cute, expensive fursuit. That is how I saw a lot of people interpreting it. I saw some others interpreting it saying, oh, you don't have a personality, you just have a cute uwu fursuit, of course you don't have friends, sort of thing. And I'm like, okay, let's not be mean about it. Nothing was specifically stated about them not having a personality. And again, this is just kind of the nature of assuming the person behind the post here, when in reality, this post is as non-problematic as it could possibly be, in my opinion. It is just simply stating their experiences and their observations from the point of view of someone who has a fursuit, or might be looking for interactions or something more from the furry experience. In those reposts, specifically dunking on the original fursuiter and the original post, a lot of those reposts that I saw that were dunking on the original post, I feel like they were getting a little too overzealous with the narrative that that they were entitled to a specific experience because they had a fursuit. I feel like that's the narrative that people went on with from that original post, based on their interpretations of what was said. Like, yeah, you know, the part of how are you changing the world, a bit superficial. I can understand where that might be a bit off-putting. I mean, for me, it was a little off-putting when I first read it, but personally, from how I interpret the post, I saw this as someone who, for most of their time in furry, have been told that furry is pay to win, that you need a fursuit to enjoy this, you need a fursuit to be invited to things, to be included in things. You know, if you have a fursuit, it makes furry so much easier for you. And in all honesty, that is a narrative that I've seen thrown around within the furry sphere for however many years now, ever since that original video that I did about if furry is pay to win or not, which I argued that it isn't. If you think it's pay to win, you know, you're gonna have a very shallow experience with the people that you're meeting who want to get to know you based on your fursuit. And that tweet that the person had made, I feel like was detailing a lot of their experiences as being someone with a fursuit who was looking to meet more people, who was looking to make friends, but wasn't getting any results just based on the fursuit that they had, based on how they had been, I guess, taught or misguided that furry was pay to win. That is how I interpreted the original post. And so when I read it, I actually felt bad for the guy. Like, I thought that they were really struggling to make friends or make their home in some new friend circle, meet people. I thought they were really struggling with that. And so I felt for them. As someone who has struggled with socializing, with making friends, with dealing with social anxieties, I understand that very well. And so I very much felt for their circumstance, even though, spoilers, that wasn't the case at all. And so I originally saw the post, you know, poked a little bit of fun at it, truthfully, when I had made a post the next day being like, hello, furry fandom, good morning, how are we changing the world today? You know, just a little bit of poking fun, nothing malicious at the end of the day, which maybe it was in bad taste for me to make that post, but regardless, I'm owning up to that. After the post was made, it made its rounds on furry Twitter and eventually turned into the furry convention meme of the weekend. Not long after that post was made, people were going to that exact location on the balcony in the fishbowl at MFF and taking their own versions of those fursuit photos, adding their own spin on the captions to the it's a bit superficial part. A lot of different versions, some in good spirit of the meme, some that were, in all honesty, kind of in bad taste. At the end of the day, it ended up being the meme of the weekend, or at least for the con. So much so that supposedly there was a line going out the door for fursuiters to get a photo in that exact spot on that balcony, which is pretty crazy to think about. I didn't have a line when I went to go and take my version of the fursuit photo. I just kind of went because, you know, something fun to do. Some of these reposts or memes that people were making were in good taste, kind of just trying to do like the fun little shenanigan meme of the weekend that they saw on Twitter, while some were directly trying to be mean-spirited towards the original post. I saw some that genuinely meant to make the meme what it was. Didn't mean to be mean-spirited or malicious, or even making fun of the original post. Hell, it even got to the point where some people just weren't even sure what the original post was that warranted people to do this meme fursuit pose that weekend. Even when I posted about it, people were like, wait, where did this original one come from? Why are people doing this? It got that much traction, no one knew what the source material was. And that's why I hope that if the fursuiter, if you're watching this video, you take it in stride, because you managed to create a convention meme for MFF. Like, that is, as much as it might not have been in the intentions that you had it, it ended up being made, and I hope you take it in stride, because honestly, that is very impressive to be able to do. Which, granted, it came down to the internet doing what it does at the end of the day. So that's how it happened, and how it gained traction and got to where it is. That's why it became the furry meme of the weekend. So with the idea that all of these interpretations could be just assuming or wrong, I actually went out of my way to ask the fursuiter what they meant by the post that they made, because they actually followed me after I said I was going to do a video on the whole thing, because, you know, I just thought it was in poor taste, some of the memes and whatnot. And so I asked them, you know, what did you mean by the original post? Because I know there is a limit to characters in whatever you post on Twitter, and you need to have like a thread of 32 other replies to explain things as thoroughly, and even then, people can interpret it in whatever way they'd like. And this is what they had to say. The idea that the tweet was that some people only see a cute suit and only see a suit. They sometimes don't bother getting to know the person inside the suit. Like they only want to take pictures with a suitor for social media and brag about meeting a well-known or cute suitor. They don't get to know the suitor on a personal level, so I've come to observe and see how lonely it feels sometimes. That part is true, but unfortunately is just kind of by nature what furry is. Like, there will always be people that just want to interact with you because you have a cute suit. Just like there are some people who only want to interact with me because I'm BetaEtaDelota, or they want something from me. They want the number next to my name. And especially within furry, which is an actively growing, building community, there's going to be a plethora of different people who will want whatever X, Y, or Z thing from you, whether you have a fursuit or not. My experience in the fandom was to get to know the person inside the suit on a more personal basis. I'm good friends with suitors big and small because I chat with them in person as well as online, invite them to parties, hang out, etc., making them feel loved, appreciated, included, and have a friend that cares about them that they can count on. I agree that the suits are cute, but I care about the person inside the suit too. It's a problem I notice that occurs too much in the fandom. We need to do better. So I get the sentiment. However, as much as I think that sentiment and attempt is very good, can't exactly be expected of everyone else. It's kind of like saying, you know, furries need to do this better. You know, not every furry is going to do that. I get what they might want at the end of the day and might want people to feel more included and loved, and that's awesome. That's good. But you can't always expect people to do that. It's kind of like the same thing as like my arguments on the furry fandom having a click problem video. As much as you might want to be a part of something, or you might want people to invite you or include you in their plans or friend groups or social circles, that's not always going to be the case, and some people might just be more closed off. And that's especially the case in an ever-growing community. I feel like as the community or furry itself grows more and more, people will want to be a bit more closed off with the friends they make, the people they interact with, or the people they let in. And that's just naturally what happens, especially in an ever-growing community. But I also don't think what the original fursuiter here has to say is necessarily wrong or mean-spirited. I think they have good intentions, and I think at the end of the day, they're just looking out for people who are lonely, who have a fursuit, who were told this narrative about wanting to get to know people, but they're just not getting there with it. And what they replied to me pretty much was along the lines of they want to make sure people are included or cared about, not just for the fursuit, but the person they are inside the fursuit. Which honestly, I totally understand that narrative. You know, like, don't let a person's fursuit be the judge of their character, but their character be the judge of their character. Get to know people for who they are rather than their fursuit. Don't befriend someone for their fursuit, which, you know, is something to be said, knowing people very much will and can do that. I understand the concerns that they might have about superficiality, about getting to know people based on their fursuit, or not even wanting to get to know people and just enjoy them at face value. But honestly, that's kind of just the nature of how furry is. It's not intentionally malicious. It's not bad at the end of the day. And that's why, as a response to that initial point, you gotta put in effort. If you want to get to know someone, you gotta put effort into it. And that might not be the same case for everyone else. Not everyone is gonna put in that amazing amount of effort into getting to know you or getting to know others. But if you're really looking to get to know someone, you gotta try. You gotta put yourself out there. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Try again. Because if you're putting your honest self out there, you're bound to meet people of similar nature and similar mindset. It's kind of like how positive people attract positive people and negative people attract negative people. And with the whole talk about like fursuits and all that being like kind of this life hack to get from point A to point B within furry, it's not an end-all be-all with getting to meet people and make friends. Does it help a little bit? Yes, but I don't think it is the ultimate solution to a problem of just going out and meeting people. So at the end of the day, I understand the sentiment that they're trying to go for. You know, they might be realizing in the moment that furry isn't necessarily pay to win, especially in, you know, throughout the years with people saying that it is pay to win. A fursuit cannot buy you friends. I mean, it may seem like it can. Maybe it can for any other person, but it's not an end-all be-all, because at the end of the day, furry is about community, and it's a hobby you participate in. It's how you meet people. It's how you socialize. It's kind of like its own like little platform. Not like social media platform, but a platform, a filter for meeting people of similar mindset, of similar interest, of similar creativity. And as it's growing more and more each day, you're bound to meet all sorts of different new people. That's just the nature of how furry is. As much as the meme was turned into something fun, a little fun activity or fursuit photo that people were taking throughout the weekend, the origin of it was, in my opinion, a little bit more sad and kind of in bad taste. The people that were dunking on him, it was just absolutely just You guys were mean. Sorry to say. You were not even sorry to say. You were just mean for no reason. There's ways of being constructive and destructive with any sort of post, with any sort of critique or feedback. And I feel like the majority of the critiques and feedback were destructive, not constructive. That's why I had a problem with the overall replies and responses to that post. So that's the origin story of the meme that you probably saw going around during MFF weekend on Twitter, how it came to be, and I guess the actual intentions behind that post. So on that note, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this, be sure to let me know in the comments. I greatly appreciate all the love and support and the kind words you guys have to say about, well, my discussions, arguments, whatever it might be. Again, if you know who the Fursuiter is, go and show them some love and support. I'm sure they would appreciate, a kind DM, especially knowing the plethora of replies that I saw coming their way of people that were just so mean-spirited for no reason. If you had a good MFF, please let me know in the comments as well. I had an amazing con personally. I'll probably be doing a con recap soon and a couple of other videos from other drama that stirred from MFF, so we'll talk about that when the time comes. But that's about it for me. Have a wonderful night, take care, life stay jacket, treat people like people, and that's about it. Take care, guys.